So you just finished Naruto and you're trying to figure out where to go from here. It's a common starting point for anime, so there's been a lot of people in your exact situation. I put together a list of 7 anime that I think are good recommendations based off of Naruto. Don't worry, we'll get you back to your filler arcs in no time. So just a quick explanation, Naruto is a shounen anime, and all the anime on this list are also shounen animes. There are a lot of shounen out there, so I wanted to make this based on more than just the super common elements of fighting and the power of determination and all that shonens usually are focused around, which all of them are, I think, on this list. I wanted to get a bit more specific, and there are going to be a lot of anime that aren't on this list that do have those elements, but these are just the ones that I chose. So before we get started here, if you could go ahead and hit subscribe down below. It's free, and if you change your mind, you can always unsubscribe later. And also be sure to check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/cast10. Number 7, Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail follows the members of the Fairy Tail Guild on their various adventures, with Natsu being one of, if not the main character. Naruto and Natsu are both hard-headed and goofy characters, and I personally think is the main thing that makes the two animes similar. I also think the overall feel of the show is similar to the original series. It's generally more lighthearted and with more humor sprinkled in here and there. I'm not the biggest fan of Fairy Tail, but I do think it's similar, and I think there are a lot of people that like Naruto that will also like Fairy Tail. It may not be one I personally enjoy, but I didn't want to leave it out just for that reason. I do think it is a fairly good recommendation based on Naruto. Number 6, Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist follows Rin Okumura in his journey to become an exorcist. I thought Rin and Naruto had a fair amount of similarities as characters. Without giving too much away, they share a decent amount of traits, similar relationships, as well as an inherited power that neither of them chose. He also kind of has a rival thing going on with his brother Yukio, but as far as I remember, that's a little bit less of a factor than the Naruto-Sasuke relationship. So just a word of warning, if you do choose to go with Blue Exorcist, there is something that is a little weird there. At episode 18, I think it is, of the first season, everything after that in the first season is actually filler. Kind of had a Full Metal Alchemist or Hunter x Hunter situation where the anime actually caught up to the manga, so they had to go ahead and just fill in what they thought was going to happen. Then there's the Kyoto Saga, which is actually the canon continuation from that point in season 1. Number 5, Black Clover. Alright, we're going to take a moment here and stop, because I'm about to suggest something that will make a lot of your guys' stomach turn. I think if you're going to choose Black Clover, you should watch it dubbed and not subbed, at least for a while. So I may be talking out of my ass here, but the main criticism I saw for Black Clover was the main character's voice. And I do think the Funimation dub does Asta a little bit better. I think his voice is less annoying, less grating on the ears, and that's the main reason I think to choose the dub, because when the main character's voice is like that to me, I think it makes the show a little hard to enjoy when that's all you can focus on. Alright, now that the pitchforks are away, hopefully, I can go ahead and explain why I recommend it. So I think Asta and Naruto have a lot of similarities. Asta wants to be the Wizard King like Naruto wants to be the Hokage, and Asta has a strong rival relationship with his foster brother Yuno, similar to the Naruto-Sasuke relationship. You know, one is loud and doesn't start from much, and the other is quieter, kind of more aloof, and very naturally talented. If that Naruto-Sasuke dynamic is something that kept you interested in Naruto, you may actually enjoy this one. It's not the same, obviously, but it does have that similar, each one striving to be better than the other. Number 4, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is a classic, and I think it would be recommended by a lot of people if asked for recommendations based on Naruto, for a few different reasons. Besides the fights and other shonen-y goodness, it does have goofy humor, a block-headed main character dressed in orange, and also that same rival-chasing element that Naruto has. A decent-sized character difference, though, is that Goku, his main focus is just to be stronger and stronger and fight stronger people, and that's all he really wants to do. He doesn't have high aspirations for like a title or to be a father or anything like that. So something to say for Dragon Ball is the only place I've found to stream it legally right now is Funimation, and you actually can stream, I believe it's at least the first season for free with ads, so you don't have to actually pay for the Funimation subscription, but as far as I know, that's the only place to stream it right now. Number 3, My Hero Academia. aspirations to become the greatest, a strong rival relationship, zero to hero story. There's a lot of similarities between Naruto and My Hero. It's also just a really good show. The rival relationship is more actively hostile with Deku and Bakugo, with their origins being pretty different as well from Naruto and Sasuke. Deku and Bakugo actually started as friends when they were little and grew to be rivals, so it's kind of the opposite of the Naruto-Sasuke dynamic in that regard at least, but it is pretty similar in the dynamic it creates, and I think it's an enjoyable rival relationship. So another similarity between the two, both Naruto and My Hero, they kind of have this schoolyard thing going on where Naruto they were learning to become ninjas, My Hero they're learning to become heroes, but they have the whole bunch of different characters trying to learn to become that. So that's another thing that they both share. Number 2, One Piece. One Piece. You get it. You know, the stretchy boy show. Chances are, if you made it through all of Naruto and Shippuden, the One Piece episode list isn't gonna scare you off like it would some people. To be honest, One Piece is the show on this list I've watched the least of, but that's also, like, come on, I mean, what episode are they on now? Like 990? That's a shitload of episodes, man. That's a lot of time. But I have watched a decent chunk of it, and I have enjoyed it, and I do think people that like Naruto will enjoy it as well. Goofy main characters and humor, overhaul lightheartedness, attempting to become the best, pretty strong elements that Naruto and One Piece share. With what I've seen, it's a little closer to the original Naruto series, but once again, I have not seen all of it. So I can really only go based off of what I have seen, and with what I have seen, there's some pretty strong similarities. Congratulations! You've made it to the Honorable Mentions filler arc. So I did have a couple honorable mentions I wanted to throw in there. Bleach is one I haven't watched enough to really recommend, but I do think there are a lot of Naruto fans who will like it from what I've seen. Just because of how little I have seen, I didn't want to throw it on the list. There are 2 other ones I wanted to go ahead and throw in the honorable mentions. The reasons they're honorable mentions and on the list is because I couldn't think of too much that really overlapped with them, but I do think the quality of them is worth mentioning on this list. The 2 are Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Demon Slayer. They're both just so good. I enjoy them both a lot, and I do think if you enjoy anime with good story and fights, that you'll enjoy both of them. At long last, we're here. The number 1 on the list. Any guesses? Well, I have no way to tell you if you're right or not. Number 1 on the list, Hunter x Hunter. So Hunter x Hunter is my personal favorite shonen. The main character Gon and Naruto do have some similarities. Both younger kids he does want to be a hunter rather than a ninja, but it's still a similar aspiration to be one, although the motives behind them are different. But I think the area that has the strongest similarity, and in my opinion the best similarity, is in the antagonists. I think both Hisoka and Orochimaru have a lot in common. They're both kind of designed as creepier, kind of paler looking characters. They both have a strong interest in a main character. I also think the Spiders and the Akatsuki have a lot of similarities. You know, mysterious organization with strong members and kind of specific motives that they're looking to carry out. I don't really want to spoil anything, but there is some decent similarities there. Above all, Hunter x Hunter is really good. There's cool fights and interesting powers. There's just so much to enjoy about it. It just doesn't feel like a cookie cutter shonen. I personally think if people enjoyed Naruto, they will find something that they will like about Hunter x Hunter. And another thing about Hunter x Hunter, I mentioned it earlier where Blue Exorcist reached this point where it caught up to the manga. Hunter x Hunter's had this happen twice. So there's a 1999 anime and then there's a 2011 anime. I haven't watched the 1999 one, but the 2011 Hunter x Hunter is rated very highly, so that's the one I went with, and I did not regret that decision. Well, congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. If you want real quick, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Be sure to check me out on twitch.tv/cast10. Come by and hang out, we'll play some video games and have some fun. Alright, thanks guys.